Welcome to the Social Media Playbook. I'm Niklas, founder and CEO of GYP Media, and today we are diving into one of the most critical elements of building a successful business: branding. Branding goes beyond just a logo, colors, or catchy slogans. It's about creating an emotional connection with your audience, building trust, and establishing a unique identity that stands out in a crowded market. Whether you're building a brand for a large company, a small business, or your personal brand, this episode is packed with insights to help you create a brand that resonates deeply with your audience and delivers long-term success. We'll be covering a range of topics today, from understanding what a brand really is, to positioning, storytelling, authenticity, framing, and personal branding. We'll also draw on the latest research and examples from iconic brands that have mastered the art of branding. So if you're ready to take your branding to the next level, let's get started. What is a brand? When most people think of branding, they think of visual elements, the logo, the design, the colors, and the fonts, but branding is so much more than that. A brand is the perception that your audience has of your business. It's the way people feel about your company when they hear your name, see your products, or interact with your services. In essence, a brand is the sum total of the emotional and psychological relationship your business has with your customers. It's shaped by every interaction people have with your business, from their first impression to the long-term relationship they build with you. Brand versus branding. To clarify, the brand is the identity, how the world sees you. Branding, on the other hand, is the process of crafting that identity. It's a deliberate, strategic effort to shape how people perceive your business. The choices you make, whether it's your tone of voice, the values you express, or the design of your packaging, all work together to create that perception. The emotional connection of a brand. One of the most critical components of branding is creating an emotional connection with your audience. When people connect emotionally with a brand, they're more likely to be loyal, to trust the brand, and to advocate for it. Take brands like Apple or Nike, for example. People don't just buy their products, they buy into the ethos and identity that those brands represent. Apple users often describe their products as sleek, innovative, and even cool, while Nike has built a powerful emotional narrative around the idea of pushing your limits and being your best self. Why perception is everything. So why is this perception so important? It's because people make decisions based on emotion and then justify those decisions with logic. A strong brand creates positive emotions that influence customer behavior. If your brand is seen as trustworthy, reliable, or innovative, people will want to align with it and ultimately invest in your products or services. If we think of perception as the foundation, branding is the strategy that molds and shapes that perception over time. The power of storytelling and branding. Let's move on to one of the most powerful tools in your branding arsenal: storytelling. People are hardwired to love stories. It's how we make sense of the world, how we connect with others, and how we process information. When done effectively, storytelling and branding can help create a deeper, more emotional connection between your brand and your audience. Why storytelling works? Humans have been telling stories for thousands of years, and they've become the most effective way to convey ideas, values, and emotions. From an evolutionary standpoint, we're biologically programmed to respond to stories more than cold facts. That's why narratives are so powerful in marketing. Stories make your brand relatable, memorable, and meaningful. The core components of a great brand story: 1. The hero. In any great story, there's always a hero. But here's a key insight for branding. The hero is not your company, it's your customer. Your role as a brand is to guide and empower your customer, showing them how your product or service will help them overcome their challenges. This is a principle echoed in building a story brand, where the customer is positioned as the central figure, and your brand is the guide helping them on their journey. 2. The conflict. Every good story needs conflict, something the hero has to overcome. In branding, the conflict often represents the customer's problem or pain point. It's crucial to understand your customer's challenges deeply so that you can position your brand as the solution that helps them succeed. Brands like Slack and Asana do a fantastic job of framing the chaos of modern work as the conflict, while positioning their software as the solution that brings order and efficiency. 3. The resolution. The resolution is where your product or service steps in and saves the day. But the key to making this work in branding is to be subtle. It's not about hard selling your product as the hero, it's about showing how your brand helps the customer on their journey to a better outcome. The focus should always be on the benefits they experience, not just the features you offer. Authenticity in storytelling. Authenticity in your brand story is crucial. It's not about creating a contrived narrative just for the sake of marketing. The stories you tell should reflect the genuine values and mission of your brand. People can spot inner authenticity a mile away, and if your story feels fabricated, it will backfire. A brand that is authentic in its storytelling resonates on a deeper level with customers, fostering trust and loyalty. Consider Airbnb's Belong Anywhere campaign. The story they tell isn't just about booking a place to stay, it's about creating unique, meaningful experiences that make you feel at home anywhere in the world. This emotional narrative appeals to the wanderlust and desire for connection in their customer base, making the brand much more than just a transaction platform for short-term rentals. Authenticity in branding, building trust and loyalty. Let's dive deeper into authenticity in branding, which has become more important than ever in today's digital and transparent world. Authenticity is not just a buzzword, it's a core principle that can make or break your brand's relationship with your audience. Why authenticity matters. Consumers today are more discerning than ever before. With access to a wealth of information, they can quickly sniff out brands that are trying to manipulate or deceive them. Inauthentic brands don't last long in today's environment. According to a study published in Harvard Business Review, brands that embrace authenticity build stronger relationships with their audience as they are seen as more trustworthy, reliable, and relatable. Authenticity fosters trust, and trust is the foundation of any strong relationship. When customers trust a brand, they are not only more likely to purchase from it, but also more likely to become loyal advocates, spreading positive word of mouth. How to build authenticity in branding. 1. Stay true to your values. A brand that wavers or flip-flops on its values is one that will lose credibility. Think about brands like Ben & Jerry's, which has stayed consistent in its commitment to social justice and environmental issues. They don't shy away from controversial topics, and because of that, they've built a community of fiercely loyal customers who believe in their mission. To be authentic, your brand needs to have a clear set of values and stick to them. 2. Transparency. One of the biggest ways to build authenticity is through transparency. Whether it's being upfront about your pricing, showing the behind-the-scenes process of how your products are made, or being open about mistakes when they happen, transparency breeds trust. Customers want to know that they can rely on you, and being transparent helps reinforce that trust. A great example of this is Patagonia, which provides detailed information about the environmental impact of their products and encourages consumers to repair their items instead of replacing them. 3. Consistency. Authenticity also comes from consistent actions. It's about consistently delivering on your brand's promises and maintaining your identity across every customer touchpoint. If you promote yourself as eco-friendly, you can't cut corners on sustainability behind the scenes. If your messaging is all about inclusivity, your actions need to reflect that in every aspect of your business, from hiring practices to marketing campaigns. 5. Humanize your brand. Authentic brands feel human. They show their flaws, admit mistakes, and engage in genuine two-way conversations with their audience. This might mean sharing stories from your team, responding to customer feedback in a personal and empathetic way, or simply using more conversational language in your communications. The benefits of authentic branding. Authenticity doesn't just build trust, it builds loyalty. When customers believe in your brand, they'll stick around even when things go wrong. They'll advocate for you, defend you, and recommend you to others. They're not just buying your products, they're buying into the values, the mission, and the personality of your brand. Now that we've covered the importance of authenticity in branding, it's crucial to dive deeper into one of the most valuable assets a brand can have: trust. Trust is the foundation of any strong relationship, whether it's personal or professional. And in branding, trust is what turns casual customers into loyal advocates, repeat buyers, and even brand ambassadors. Why trust matters. Trust in branding isn't just about delivering what you promise, it's about creating a relationship with your audience that goes beyond the transactional. In an age where customers have endless choices and information at their fingertips, they are more skeptical and discerning than ever. A brand that establishes trust becomes a safe choice, a brand people know they can rely on, even in uncertain or competitive markets. A study by Edelman's Trust Barometer shows that 80% of consumers say they need to trust a brand before they'll consider buying from them. Without trust, it's almost impossible to build long-term customer loyalty, and your brand will struggle to differentiate itself in a crowded marketplace. So how exactly can you build and maintain trust with your audience? Let's break it down into several actionable strategies. 1. Consistency is key. The first pillar of building trust is consistency. Customers trust brands that deliver a predictable and reliable experience every time they interact with them. Whether it's the quality of your product, your customer service, or your brand messaging, consistency breeds confidence. For example, think of brands like Coca-Cola or McDonald's. No matter where you are in the world, you know exactly what to expect from these brands. This consistency in experience creates a sense of reliability, which is crucial for earning trust. This also applies to how you communicate. Your messaging needs to be consistent across all channels. Your website, social media, emails, and in-person interactions should all reflect the same tone, values, and promises. Any disconnect can confuse your audience and make them question your brand's authenticity. 2. Deliver on promises. The quickest way to erode trust is by making promises you can't keep. If your brand claims to offer the best customer service or the fastest delivery times, You need to live up to those promises. Under promise and over deliver is a powerful mantra when it comes to building trust. If you fall short of your promises, acknowledge it. For example, if there's a delay in shipping or an issue with your product, being transparent with your customers and communicating proactively goes a long way. People appreciate honesty, and handling mistakes with grace and can actually strengthen trust in the long run. Take Zappos for example. Their policy of free returns and a customer-first approach has helped them build immense trust with their customers. They deliver on their promise of hassle-free shopping, and even when things go wrong, their exceptional customer service often turns a bad experience into a positive one. 3. Transparency and openness. In today's world, consumers expect brands to be open and transparent about their practices, whether it's their supply chain, pricing structure, or even internal values. Transparency creates a sense of accountability and shows that your brand has nothing to hide. For instance, brands like Patagonia have built trust by being transparent about their environmental impact and efforts to reduce it. They openly share their sustainability goals, even when they fall short of them, which only strengthens their credibility. This transparency makes customers feel like they are part of the brand's mission, which deepens trust. 4. Engage in two-way communication. Trust isn't just about what you say, it's also about how well you listen. Engaging in two-way communication with your customers helps build a relationship where they feel heard and valued. This means actively listening to customer feedback, responding to reviews, and participating in meaningful conversations, especially on social media. Brands that listen to their customers and act on their input are much more likely to foster loyalty. If customers feel that you genuinely care about their opinions and experiences, they'll trust that you're working to meet their needs. Take Lego for example. They've built an entire community around their brand by engaging with fans, listening to their ideas, and even launching products inspired by customer suggestions. This kind of engagement makes customers feel like partners in the brand's journey, deepening their trust. 5. Social proof and third-party validation. Another powerful way to build trust is through social proof and third-party endorsements. When people see that others trust and recommend your brand, it reinforces the idea that you are trustworthy. Social proof can take many forms: customer reviews, testimonials, case studies, influencer partnerships, or media coverage. The key here is to show that others believe in you, which reduces the perceived risk for new customers. This is why platforms like Yelp, TripAdvisor, and Google Reviews play such a critical role in helping brands build trust. For example, when Glossier was building its brand, it heavily relied on customer reviews, user-generated content, and influencer partnerships. By showcasing real people using and loving their products, they built an enormous amount of trust, which propelled their rapid growth. 6. Demonstrate expertise and authority. One of the most effective ways to gain trust is by positioning yourself as an expert in your field. When customers see your brand as knowledgeable and authoritative, they are more likely to trust your recommendations, products, and services. You can demonstrate expertise through high-quality content, thought leadership, and sharing valuable insights with your audience. Content marketing plays a huge role here. By offering educational resources, how-to guides, webinars, or white papers, you establish yourself as a trusted resource. For example, HubSpot is a leader in the digital marketing space, not just because of its software, but also because of the vast amount of free, high-quality content it offers. They provide value upfront, and in return, customers trust them when it comes to choosing marketing tools. 7. Emphasize ethical practices. Consumers today are increasingly conscious of the ethical practices of the brands they support. Whether it's fair labor practices, environmental sustainability, or community involvement, showing that your brand operates with integrity can significantly boost trust. Brands like Ben and Jerry's and Tom's have built trust through their commitment to social causes. Customers know that when they buy from these brands, they're supporting a company that aligns with their values. This not only builds trust but also creates an emotional connection with the brand. 8. Show vulnerability and humanity. Finally, a great way to build trust is by showing that your brand is human. Brands that admit when they make mistakes and show vulnerability are often seen as more relatable and trustworthy. Customers understand that no brand is perfect, and they appreciate companies that are willing to own up to their shortcomings. For example, when Airbnb faced backlash over safety concerns, they responded by taking significant steps to address the issue, including launching a 24/7 safety line and offering insurance for hosts. Their willingness to acknowledge the problem and take corrective action helped rebuild trust with their community. Trust is earned over time. In summary, trust isn't built overnight. It's earned through consistent actions, authentic communication, and a genuine commitment to your customers. Every interaction with your brand is an opportunity to either build or erode trust. So it's essential to always deliver on your promises, be transparent, and engage meaningfully with your audience. Without trust, even the best branding efforts will fall flat. But with trust, your brand can create lasting relationships, foster loyalty, and turn customers into lifelong advocates. The art of standing out in a crowded market. Next, let's talk about positioning, one of the most crucial aspects of branding, especially in today's crowded market where countless companies are competing for the same customers. Positioning is about defining a clear, distinct place for your brand in the minds of your customers. It's how you differentiate yourself from the competition, and it can make all the difference between blending in and standing out. What is positioning? Positioning refers to the strategic process of designing your brand's offering and image in a way that it occupies a distinct and valuable place in the minds of your target audience. This concept was popularized by Jack Trout and Al Ries in their book Positioning: The Battle for Your Mind, where they explain that positioning isn't just about what you do with your product, it's about what you do in the mind of the prospect. Your brand's position is essentially the why behind the what. It's not just what you offer, but why it matters to your audience and why they should care about it over the alternatives. Key elements of brand positioning: 1. Target audience. Positioning starts with a deep understanding of your audience. You need to know who you're speaking to, what their needs and desires are, and what problems they're trying to solve. The more specific you can be about your target audience, the better you can position your brand to meet their needs. For example, Tesla has positioned itself as the go-to brand for environmentally conscious, tech-savvy consumers who want to embrace sustainable innovation. They know their audience and their messaging reflects that. 2. Competitive landscape. To position your brand effectively, you also need to understand your competition. What are they offering? How are they positioning themselves? Where is the gap that you can fill? Sometimes the best way to position your brand is by offering a unique value proposition that no one else is delivering. Look at Warby Parker in the eyeglass market. They differentiated themselves by offering stylish, affordable glasses online at a time when most competitors were either high-end or mass-market retailers with a physical presence. 3. Value proposition. Your value proposition is the heart of your positioning. It's the reason why customers should choose your brand over others. A strong value proposition is clear, concise, and speaks directly to the customer's needs. For instance, Dollar Shave Club entered the highly competitive razor market by positioning themselves as the affordable, convenient alternative to overpriced razors that customers often forgot to buy. Their value proposition was clear: a great shave for a few bucks a month. 4th positioning statement. A positioning statement is a succinct declaration of your brand's unique value. It typically follows a structure that defines your target audience, the problem you solve, and how your solution is different or better than the competition. For example, Amazon positions itself as Earth's most customer-centric company, where customers can find and discover anything they might want to buy online. It's simple, clear, and encapsulates their customer-first focus. The importance of consistency in positioning. Once you've defined your position, the key is consistency. Every aspect of your branding, from your messaging to your customer experience, needs to align with your positioning. Inconsistent positioning can confuse customers, diluting your brand's impact and making it harder for people to understand what you stand for. Remember, positioning is not static. It can evolve over time as the market changes, as customer needs shift, and as your brand grows. But at any given point, your position should be clear and focused so that your audience knows exactly what to expect from your brand. How to shape perceptions and influence customer decisions. Now, let's talk about framing, a powerful cognitive bias that can significantly influence how customers perceive your brand and make decisions about your products or services. Framing refers to the way information is presented to people, and it can have a profound impact on their judgment and behavior. What is framing? In simple terms, framing is about how you present your brand, product, or message in a way that shapes how people interpret it. The same information, framed in different ways, can lead to completely different outcomes. For example, if you frame a product as being high quality and durable, people will perceive it differently than if you frame it as affordable and cost effective. Both might be true, but the emphasis is different, and it shapes the customer's perception in distinct ways. The power of positive and negative framing. There are two primary types of framing: positive framing and negative framing. Positive framing highlights the benefits and good outcomes associated with your product, while negative framing focuses on avoiding potential losses or negative outcomes. For example, let's say you're selling insurance. Positive framing would focus on the peace of mind and security that your insurance provides. Negative framing, on the other hand, might emphasize the risks and financial loss that could happen if someone doesn't have insurance. Both are valid approaches, but the choice of framing can impact how people perceive the urgency and value of your offer. Framing in action. One of the best examples of framing comes from Apple. When they first launched the iPod, they didn't describe it as a 5 GB MP3 player. Instead, they framed it as 1,000 songs in your pocket. That shift in framing made the product instantly relatable and valuable to customers. it wasn't just about technical specs, it was about the experience of having all your favorite music with you wherever you go. Another great example is Coca-Cola's Share a Coke campaign. Instead of just saying, drink Coke, the brand framed it as a social, shared experience by putting people's names on the bottles and encouraging them to share the experience with friends and family. This created a new emotional connection with the product and turned a simple purchase into a memorable, shareable moment. The role of framing in pricing. Framing can also play a huge role in pricing strategies. For example, many companies use what's called decoy pricing. They introduce a third, more expensive option to make their mid-range option look like a better deal by comparison. It's all about how the options are framed. This technique is often used by subscription services that offer a basic, premium, and pro package. The middle option is framed as the best value, making it the most attractive to consumers. How to use framing in your brand. To effectively use framing in your branding, you need to understand your audience. What are their pain points? What motivates them? This will help you choose the right frame for your message. Highlight the right benefits. If your product offers multiple benefits, decide which ones will resonate most with your audience and frame your messaging around that. Test different frames. Don't be afraid to experiment with different ways of framing your product or service. You might find that a slight shift in emphasis, like focusing on time saving instead of cost saving, can have a huge impact on how people perceive your offer. We've talked a lot about branding from a business perspective, but now let's dive into something just as important. Personal branding, whether you're an entrepreneur, a thought leader, or a professional looking to advance your career, your personal brand plays a crucial role in how you're perceived in your industry. According to a study from Harvard Business Review titled A New Approach to Building Your Personal Brand, personal branding is more than just self-promotion. It's about authentically presenting yourself in a way that aligns with your values, expertise, and the needs of your audience. The importance of personal branding. In today's digital world, personal branding is non-negotiable. Whether you realize it or not, people are forming opinions about you based on your online presence, your interactions, and the content you share. Building a strong personal brand helps you establish credibility, attract opportunities, and stand out in your field. A key finding from the study suggests that the most effective personal brands are those that strike a balance between authenticity and value creation. In other words, it's not just about showcasing your skills or expertise, it's about being genuine and offering something of value to your audience. The 3-step process to building a strong personal brand. The Harvard study outlines a 3-step process for developing a powerful personal brand. 1. Define. Start by defining who you are, what you stand for, and what makes you unique. This is the core of your personal brand. What are your core values? What's your unique value proposition? Are you the go-to expert on a specific topic, or are you known for your ability to bring people together? Getting clear on these aspects will help you communicate your personal brand more effectively. 2. Develop. Next, you need to actively develop your personal brand by creating and sharing content that reflects your expertise and values. This might include writing blog posts, posting on LinkedIn, speaking at conferences, or even simply engaging thoughtfully on social media. Every piece of content you share is an opportunity to reinforce your personal brand. 3. Communicate. Finally, communicate your brand consistently. This doesn't mean you need to be constantly self-promoting, but rather that you should look for opportunities to share insights, engage in meaningful conversations, and provide value to your audience. The key is consistency. Your personal brand should be reflected in everything you do, from your social media presence to your in-person interactions. The role of storytelling in personal branding. Just like with corporate branding, storytelling is a powerful tool in personal branding. Your personal story, how you got to where you are, the challenges you faced, and the lessons you learned can help humanize your brand and make it more relatable to your audience. For example, Elon Musk is a master of personal branding, not just because he's a billionaire entrepreneur, but because he's built a narrative around himself as a visionary who's constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible. His personal brand isn't just about the companies he runs, it's about the future he envisions, and people are drawn to that story. As we wrap up this deep dive into branding, let's recap some of the key takeaways. The first one, branding is about perception. Your brand is not what you say it is, it's what your audience says it is. Every touch point, every interaction, and every piece of content contributes to that perception. 2. Storytelling is the heart of branding. Great brands don't just sell products, they tell stories that connect emotionally with their audience. Whether it's through the hero's journey, authenticity, or a compelling narrative, your brand story is what will make you memorable. 3. Authenticity builds trust. In a world where consumers are more skeptical than ever, being authentic and transparent is non-negotiable. It's not just about saying the right things, it's about living your values and being true to your brand. 4th, positioning and framing are crucial for differentiation. In a crowded market, how you position and frame your brand can make all the difference. Positioning helps you carve out a unique space in the minds of your customers, while framing shapes how they perceive and respond to your offers. 5. Personal branding is as important as corporate branding. In today's world, your personal brand can be a key driver of success, whether you're building a business or advancing in your career. It's all about defining, developing, and consistently communicating your unique value. Remember, building a strong brand, whether it's a corporate or personal one, takes time, effort, and strategic thinking. But when done right, the rewards are tremendous. A loyal customer base, a clear competitive advantage, and a brand that stands the test of time. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I hope you found this exploration of branding insightful and valuable. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review if you enjoyed the episode. And, as always, if you have any questions or want to dive deeper into any of these topics, feel free to reach out on social media. Until next time, keep building your brand and telling your story.